Luuk is officially in the second half of version 3.1, and the important part to understand immediately is how his entire kit is built around his Forte circuit and the I-Core flow gauge. Every basic attack, skill cast, and his intro skill generates I-Core flow up to a cap of 300, and once that gauge is filled, he automatically transitions into his Aureate Judge state. In that state, his weapon shifts from a surgical blade to a scythe. The gauge stops building and instead becomes a resource that fuels his enhanced skills. The payoff is very direct. His enhanced resonance skills receive a flat 110% damage multiplier increase, which is the main reason his damage profile is so front-loaded and easy to evaluate. Outside of that transformation, his standard resonance skill already contributes meaningful spectro damage and applies the Tune Strain shifting debuff for 25 seconds. What makes Luuk unusually self-sufficient is that he can fully exploit Tune Strain on his own, because his kit grants significant damage bonuses when he attacks enemies affected by the interfered version of Tune Strain. His inherent passives further extend this by granting additional attack bonuses when allies interact with the Tune Strain system, so even without a specialized support, he still gains real value from the mechanic rather than treating it as a team-only utility effect. Once Aureate Judge is active, his enhanced resonance skill, Aureole of Execution, becomes the core of his rotation. It is triggered after specific combo stages and comes in 3 mid-air focused variants: Ring, Breach, and Glare. Each version deals heavy basic attack damage, applies Tune Strain, and changes how the attack is delivered, including forward dashing slashes, thrown blade sequences, and a high-impact plunging finisher. This structure encourages staying airborne during his damage window, and the skill flow is designed to chain naturally without requiring precise timing or animation cancels. To make those aerial chains reliable, Luuk has 2 important safety and tempo tools. First is Golden Rule, a team-side buff that activates when an ally swaps out into him. When Luuk consumes it on entry, he immediately gains a large amount of I-Core flow and Concerto energy, allowing him to move straight into his enhanced skill loop instead of rebuilding resources. Second is Dawnlit Keep, which reduces incoming damage by 60% and grants resistance to interruption while he is performing his aerial sequences. Combined with his strong mid-air mobility, similar to how Jinsei operates, this lets him avoid many ground-based threats while setting up his plunge attacks and scythe combos. From a gearing perspective, his signature weapon is undeniably strong. It carries a crit rate main stat and a passive that increases attack, spectro damage, and basic attack damage, while also allowing him to ignore a portion of enemy defense when attacking targets affected by Tune Strain. That interaction directly aligns with how often his kit applies and consumes the debuff, so the weapon scales cleanly with his natural gameplay loop. The more important point, especially for free-to-play players, is that Luuk does not depend on that weapon to perform. The Pulsation Bracer is an extremely competitive alternative, matching the crit rate main stat and providing large attack and basic attack damage bonuses specifically against enemies affected by Tune Strain. This condition is almost always active in real combat. Other 5-star gauntlets can function on him, but in practical value they fall behind what Pulsation Bracer offers for his specific damage profile. Looking at the full kit together, Luuk is shaping up to be one of the strongest and most accessible Spectro main DPS options, particularly for players who want a straightforward damage dealer with minimal setup friction. His rotation is easy to pilot, his birth window is clearly defined by the Aureate Judge state, and his strongest weapon alternative is widely obtainable. The main limitation is that his kit is heavily biased towards single target output, so his performance can dip in wide area scenarios. If you already run a well-developed Spectro lineup, or you are intentionally holding resources for Signitra in version 3.2, or reruns like Mornia and Lene like me, skipping him is a reasonable choice. Otherwise, especially for newer accounts or anyone preparing for the Tower of Adversity, Luuk is a very efficient and low-risk pull.